same men you meet in real life. They're at the grocery store, at your job, they're in your DMs, they're at brunch, at the gym. They're outside. The app isn't the problem, the patterns are.
Is it happening?
She responds to the conversation. I'm like, all right, what's going on? This never happened.
Scrolling trans woman.
I know it!
I've learned. I've been ghosted so hard that I had to check to see if my phone was still working. And my personal favorite, I'm actually moving overseas next week. It is with reluctance and mild emotional exhaustion that I announce my official retirement from all dating apps. After an adventurous decade, I have decided to hang up the swipes. 10 years, thousands of profiles, hundreds of matches, enough dates to write a thesis, no tenure. I've laughed, I've learned, I've been ghosted so hard that I had to check to see if my phone was still working. I've survived, just got out of a relationship, not sure what I want, and my personal favorite, I'm actually moving overseas next week.
Wow.
This decision did not come lightly, but after years of investing my emotional energy into people who don't really check this app, I feel it's time. I'll now be taking questions from the media. Yeah, you. Hi, this is Fred from Hinge Weekly. Can you clarify what ultimately led to this decision? Yeah, thanks, Fred. I've got to say, Burnout. At some point, you've realised that you've explained your hobbies to more strangers than your own family. I simply ran out of creative ways to say that I like the beach, fitness, and good coffee. Yep. Ken here from Ghosted and Confused. Was there a specific moment that made you realise it was time? Yes, Ken. Well, it was actually when someone asked me, so what are you looking for on here? And then unmatched me immediately after I answered the question. That was my farewell tour.
Wow. Playing games.
Yep. Dan from the algorithm department. Do you feel like the apps failed you, or did you fail the apps? I think we failed each other, Dan. I gave them my best photos, and they gave me people that live 3 hours away and are just seeing what's out there. This will be the final question. You. Jason from Are You Still Single? Is this a permanent retirement or just a break? Well, at this stage, it's an indefinite retirement. I'm definitely not ruling out a comeback, but only if the industry improves. And by industry, I mean people that are intentional about dating and aren't just on the app for validation. That's important. That's it for the questions. I'd like to thank the dating apps for the memories, the emotional resilience, and of course, not least, the character development. This is not goodbye forever, but this is goodbye for my mental health. Thank you. No further questions.
You know, he's trying to do it in a joking and kidding way, but he said a lot, right? I'm sure he said thank you for the good times. Why? Because on the dating apps, that's why I say what I say in my videos all the time. There's always going to be a couple of those lucky ones. There's always a girl giving it up. But let me tell you what happens. It leads nowhere. Why? That's why he said at the end of the day, they're saying, I'm not looking for nothing serious. You think it's men more that say that. No, it's mostly ladies that say that. But it's not only the older guys.
Waste of time in this generation. Again, this video is for the dudes. I don't know if you guys have been having the same exact experiences that I've been having with dating apps, but it's dreadful. It's genuinely a waste of time. If you think you're going to meet a meaningful connection or a wife or a girlfriend on these dating apps, you are strongly mistaken. Like, I never really considered myself
Truly chopped
until I started going on dating apps. It was truly humbling. Like, it will have you analyzing every picture you're in and judging everything about yourself.
Like, damn.
Why can't I get a single girl to like me?
Am I that chopped?
Again, hopefully I'm not alone on this, but throughout the many times in my life I've been single and I've been on the dating apps, it's so bad.
It's like I get one like a week, maybe
One like every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Fucking maybe one like a month.
like
on any of the apps. Like, it's really humbling. It's actually, it makes you feel extremely insecure. And then you be going back and analyzing the fuck out of your account. Like, am I trying too hard? Do I look desperate? Oh, do I look weird in this picture? Oh, maybe I shouldn't use this picture. Maybe I should use another picture. But no matter what you change, you just cannot get a single match or like no matter what. And I don't know what it is.
Like, dating apps make me feel like I'm a 2 out of 10. Like,
I know I'm chopped, but I don't think I'm that chopped.
you know, like, I feel like I could still pull here and there.
And when I go out to the bars, I can pull here and there. I pull some cute girls here and there, you know? But on the dating apps, it's like the only girls that like me
Look like
Mark Henry with a wig,
no offense,
over 200,
300 pounds.
no offense. That's not my type. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an active, cute girl that likes to go to the gym, shorter than me preferably. That's it.
Not Mark Henry with a wig.
But the other day, I finally had a girl send me a like, and I got mad hype because I like looked at the preview and I was like, damn, she's actually cute. Like she's. So I was like, swipe right. I matched with her, sent her a message, and everything. Started the conversation.
she responds to the conversation. I'm like, all right, what's going on? This never happened.
Then I go to her profile, click on her profile.
It was
I'm
trending.
Scrolling. Trans woman.
I know it.
Not only that, I showed my boy, like I showed him pictures of the girl, and even he was like, yeah, she's mad cute. And he was like, nice girl, it's a nice match. I'm like, I know, right? And then I had to let him down later and tell him that it was a trans woman. Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That's not my type. I go after biologically born females, women. I'm straight. I'm pretty religious too. So that would kind of be against my religion to go after someone that was biologically born a male. Again, they're female now, sure, but it's just not my type. And of course, that's the one girl that likes me. I get a lot of gay guys and LGBTQ that go after me.
I don't know why. Maybe I look a little sweet.
But
Damn, I felt bamboozled.
like, I have a stable finance job. Sure, I'm 5'6". I played Division I soccer. I have a great personality. I know I do. But can't get a single date on these dating apps. And I don't even know how guys manage to get any dates on these dating apps. How are y'all even getting dates?
He said it right there. He said he's 5'6". And you know what's so funny? I'm sure he doesn't lie in his profile. He doesn't come across like one of those guys that feels he needs to lie to get a girl. Now, the thing that kills me is there's ladies out there that are 5'2". I see it all the time in the streets. I'm in the Philippines right now. My wife's sister's like 5'2". You know, they have husbands a little bit taller than them. It's fine. Out here, they do that. It's fine. In the West, no. Because they all want someone, and not even all the time, over 6 feet. But they want, like, for instance, the little braids he has. Not good. It's covering his face. It throws him off, right? Then, on his profile, he has his height. So girls are just skipping him over.
Can't even get matches. And I'm friends with a few girls. Some are cute, some are, not as cute. I don't know, maybe they're just not my type, but for me, I just wouldn't date them. But I was interested in seeing what dating is like for them, what their dating apps look like. Tell me why, when they show me their dating apps, it was like, it didn't even matter if
They were cute
Or not cute. All of them had thousands of likes.
in their queue. So many options. Like this one girl I'm friends with, looks-wise, she's all right. She's not really my type. I wouldn't really go for her.
But she showed me her account.
She had 1,900 likes. 1,900 guys.
Sitting in the queue.
That she could just wait to choose from to go on a date with.
Wow.
So let's do the math here. If a girl that looks all right has 1,900 likes, and you are not in the top 10 or 5% of attractive-looking guys, and you're sitting in a queue of 1,900 other guys, what are the odds of you actually getting a chance with a girl that you might not even be interested in? Now think about the girls that are in the top 10, 5% of attractiveness looking for girls. How many likes do you think they're getting? They might be in the multiple thousands. They might have 10,000 likes sitting in the queue. We're cooked. So you can keep trying to like the hot or the cuter girls, but I'm telling you now, she's not even going to see that you sent her a like. She's not going to see that you sent her a super like or a rose. You're cooked. All right, buddy, I'm sorry. It's over. So yeah, at the end of the day, dating apps are just a waste of time. You have a better chance of just, pulling up on a random girl in a grocery store, library, out in public, in a coffee shop, the bar. Don't do dating apps. It's rough out there.
Dating apps, right? And I was wondering how they were getting on. So the other day I was thinking about dating apps, right? And I was wondering how they were getting on. And it turns out that they are not doing great. Bumble's actually down 92% since it first went public. And Match Group, the company which owns basically every other dating app, is doing pretty badly as well. People are falling out of love with dating apps, and this is affecting Gen Z in particular, who are becoming less likely to spend money on the apps. In fact, Forbes Health ran a survey and found that 79% of Gen Z respondents had reported experiencing some form of dating app burnout. You might have even seen that the companies have resorted to some interesting marketing techniques. For example, Bumble got in trouble for some ads that they ran trying to convince women to no longer be celibate, I guess.
Yeah, I remember
People
that.
weren't too happy with these adverts. Now, this is a far cry from the promise that dating apps made for us. When they first launched, it would be difficult to believe that...
Guys, and shout out to this creator. Definitely subscribe to him. His name is Fads. He's on YouTube. I had to go into this video because he breaks down statistics, and I feel a lot of you guys need this because it's horrible out there. He shows how the dating apps pretty much want men back. You saw already how men are saying it doesn't make sense for me, but he breaks down the numbers and breaks down everything that the last guy just explained.
Around a decade later, they'd be launching $500 a month membership programs. If we try to understand how we ended up here, we maybe can come to some interesting conclusions, not just about these apps, but maybe about human relationships more broadly and the assumptions that we might make about each other. The first thing that's worth explaining is that the decline of these apps is in large part a signal of broader trends in technology. There's this idea of Enshittification, the phenomenon of online platforms degrading the quality of their services over time, leading to an overall decline in user satisfaction and overall value. This is something that's really broad across technology. It is best characterized through Airbnb, starting initially as a promised land where you could rent out a spare room at the fraction of the cost of a hotel, but ending up in a situation where people are paying $200 cleaning fees and have curfews and service fees for a rental. The most egregious example of Enshittification is BMW, who in 2022 launched a subscription to just unlock the heated seats that were already in the car. Dating apps are not immune to this problem, as fundamentally they are technology companies. The most obvious manifestation of this Enshittification is the idea that subscriptions are king. I don't know if you know this, but Tinder actually has 3 separate subscription options on top of the $500 a month subscription plan. These look more like insurance plans than dating apps. Dating apps have not become immune from this subscription mania, and their monetization strategy has led to them feeling more like a gacha game. If you don't know what a gacha game is, it's a game that uses like a loot box mechanic where players buy in-game currency and use it to gamble effectively. In fact, Tinder actually rolled out its own in-app currency that you could use to buy special features that would increase your chance of finding love. It's a very overt shift towards gamification, towards implementing game-like mechanics in a non-gaming environment. The literal CEO of the parent company of Tinder is a man named Bernard Kim, who was the former president of Zynga. If you don't know who Zynga are, they are the company that is responsible for all of the worst mobile games. You know, the ones that look like this, right? And it's no surprise that these mechanics have been transferred directly from mobile games, which are some of the most addictive games in the world, to dating apps. This idea of gamification, broadly put, is simply just driving engagement and driving usership, not by providing a service, but by hijacking your brain's reward circuitry and making you addicted to the app rather than enjoying the app. As these apps have become increasingly gamified, people have responded much how they would respond to an actual game, by trying to exploit the mechanics of the game. In the world of dating, this manifests as hinge hacks. So there's this whole world on TikTok, which I didn't know about, of people sharing techniques and tips that you can use to make your experience of using dating apps a little better. Some of these things include refreshing your Hinge feed by threatening to delete your account, which supposedly flags Hinge and makes you way more likely to show up in other people's feed. Other people's decisions?
Wow, so you have to threaten Hinge to get some results. That's crazy. So you see what the last guy just explained, how easy it is for ladies. A guy would have to do this. And that's why guys feel it's not worth it. Let alone they're guys anyway. It's hard. It's so much competition. And then this.
have been things like choosing to use AI wingmen to create a profile that is optimized for these algorithms. Enshittification isn't necessarily a complete explanation, though, because despite the fact that many other services in technology have been getting worse and worse, the companies seem to still be doing great. And there are some unique dynamics of these apps that make them especially prone to collapse and that can help us understand the mass exodus. Part of it is simply the fact that these apps promote the idea that they'll literally change your life. Hinge, for example, markets itself as the dating app designed to be deleted, which is an extremely big promise. It's a promise that I personally, as a cynic, feel like isn't necessarily true. Hinge is owned by a $9 billion company, so, I don't think they want you to delete any of their apps. I should mention that I try to consult a variety of sources, and sometimes that leads you, especially with dating, down some uncomfortable rabbit holes. And so I want to maybe address a few preconceptions that people can often have after having had a bad experience with dating apps. They're not an enjoyable experience for anyone, regardless of gender identity. Around 80% of women report feeling some level of burnout, and around 74% of males report feeling some kind of burnout as well. Yeah. The unenjoyable experience is pretty evenly split across the aisle. We have some very different problems that occur, but no set of problems is one more significant than the other. Interestingly enough, men outnumber women 3-1 on Bumble and Tinder. And yet women report higher rates of negative experiences. That's not to invalidate the...
Yeah, it's because ladies all want the top guy. And they always say they feel like there's not enough hot guys. To them, all men who are not in makeup are not hot. Like, you have to be perfect jawline, perfect face. You have to say the perfect things in your profile. Then perfect height. Then they have to want to bang you. I did a study. Well, not a study. I showed a guy that did a study on this. But that's what it is. Ladies their brains are fried, and they don't realize it. And they're used to complaining. That's the natural thing to do.
The fact that men obviously have incredibly high rates of negative experiences, but rather to emphasize the fact that nobody enjoys the experience of dating apps. The grass isn't greener on anyone's side. Men are far more likely to experience feelings of rejection, feelings of being ignored, whereas it seems like the issues that women report are more, well, they're different. They're different at least, right? So a 2023 survey found that over half of women under 50 who'd used dating apps had been sent a sexually explicit message that they didn't ask for, which I think is an insanely high statistic. But generally, the issues that lead people to feel burnt out are more broadly the failure to find a good connection, being ghosted, being lied to, feeling rejected, and having boring or not substantive conversations. Now, let's maybe understand a bit more about the user experience and what kind of leads to these super high rates of dissatisfaction, and whether dating apps are actually benefiting from this or not. Because it seems like they aren't benefiting from this huge level of dissatisfaction that people are experiencing. I want to explain a little term from economics called adverse selection. Planet Money wrote a little piece explaining how adverse selection might be an important factor in understanding why dating apps have gotten so bad lately. It's possible that dating apps face adverse selection. Basically, a new app starts up and hopeless romantics looking for real love begin flocking to it. But so do sleazy types who lie on their dating profile. Over time, the earnest daters go on a bunch of bad dates, encountering people who have no interest in real relationships or whose profiles are completely misleading. Like lemons driving good cars out of the used car market, maybe sleazeballs push great catches out of dating apps and ultimately ruin the quality of the whole app experience. So people go to a new app in the hopes of finding something better, and the cycle starts again. This idea of adverse selection is basically the idea that people can take advantage of, the meta on dating app to promote themselves as something they're not, and ultimately lead honest, well-intentioned users to feel like the apps don't have any other honest users.
You see what he said? Push themselves off as something they're not. I don't want to say it. You guys already know. This stuff writes itself.
Because they're only interacting with people who know how to game the app. This is this whole idea of, hinge hacks or using AI tools to beat the system. It doesn't necessarily make you a better person on a date, but but it makes you more representative of what the market supposedly looks like to someone who's just downloaded the app. and it makes people who download the app feel like everyone is awful. There is a way to actually minimize these bad apples. This is something that's actually been done before. If you can give the users as much information as you can, they can make more informed decisions, right? That's intuitive. However, the more information you provide to those users, the harder it makes for the app to be gamified, because they can't rely on the fact that you don't know things about other people. This is most clearly shown in the fact that Hinge's premium program, Hinge Plus and Hinge X, they both allow you to actually add more information about yourself. They allow you to filter your dates by location, by activity.
Now, you see that there? When it said send unlimited likes, who needs to send unlimited likes? You just saw the guy explain that, right? The ladies don't have to get a top account. But what it does, the apps, they're for the men to send unlimited likes. Ladies just receive the likes. With it being 3-1, it's not in favor for us. It makes no sense for any man to be on a dating app. That's why I love that men are now starting to hold the line and say, I can't be there.
And to fine tune exactly what you're looking for, which inevitably leads to a better dating experience and reduces this problem of adverse selection. And this isn't just theoretical. We can take the example of OkCupid, which has actually gone through a bit of a transformation from being a dating app that dealt with this problem of bad apples a lot better than the new school of dating apps into gradually becoming another Tinder clone. I found this comment of someone who described their experience, and I think it captures quite well what's going wrong with these apps. OkCupid used to be really great before they were sold off to Match. Match is the company that owns Tinder and Hinge and all of the other ones. It was a pretty simple concept that worked really well. Start people off by forcing them to answer at a minimum like 25 matching questions around things like politics, religion, handling money, hygiene, etc. Core factors that people would consider when dating, essentially. But the kicker was that you also got to specify how you would like your potential match to respond to the same question. And you got to weight that response based on how much you cared about that particular question. After about 25 questions, you could always get a large enough sample size to match people, but it worked best at matching people that had answered over 100 questions each. It was like magic. Anyone with over an 80% match on that site always ended up being a surefire, amazing conversation. What this person is describing, without necessarily realizing, is this idea of adverse selection, right? It's the idea that just by having more and more information about who your potential matches are in terms of their interests, their likes, their personality, you can basically make dating apps be fantastic. However, the issue with that is that they become a bit too good, right? And you end up in the situation where every person you match with is actually a pretty good person, and you're therefore extremely likely to quit the app. The ideal situation for these apps is this weird middle ground where they want you to find someone you like, but not too often, and not someone that you like too much, because then you delete the app. But they don't want you to have 0 matches, because that means that you'll delete the app super quickly. That's kind of the optimal model of a dating app, what's called a variable ratio reward, where you get a reward at an unpredictable interval, and you get a reward that's big enough every time to keep you chasing the next one, like a slot machine. And they're playing this like balancing game, and they're clearly not doing a very good job at it. When it comes down to it, ultimately, people want what they've always wanted, which is meaningful connection with others. And I think the real danger here is that people have been generalizing their experiences on dating apps as broader generalizations of how, quote unquote, society is today. And I think that's a big problem, because I would hope that most of us understand that, say, social media isn't necessarily a one-to-one representation of how people behave in real life. If you took Twitter posts, for example, to be
I don't know if this, I don't think he realizes what's happening in the date market. So yeah, no offense to this guy right here. He's a creator, great creator. He definitely took his time and put some work in on studying the apps, but men know what's up, and I think he knows as well. It doesn't make sense to be on a dating app when it's 3-1. It's just not fair.
The same men you meet in real life. life. They're at the grocery store, at your job, they're in your DMs, they're at brunch, at the gym. They're outside. The app isn't the problem, the patterns are. What the Dating App Chronicles does is break down the behavior. I talk about communication patterns, boundary tests, and emotional availability. I talk about consistency and effort, and those patterns show up whether you meet a man online or in the wild. Deleting the dating apps won't delete the dysfunction. The discernment has to travel with you. So whether you meet him on a dating app or you meet him in Target, the question is still the same. How does he show up and how do you respond?
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. Most ladies use the dating app as validation tools. That one guy with the dreads broke it down so good. He said he saw his friend's app and she had around 1,900 likes and she's about a 3. Girls' heads get souped up. Let me tell you what happens. Those girls' heads are souped up. So they'll bump into a guy who's most likely a Chad because they all are pushing like on a Chad, right? So he's smashing everything. So a Chad will smash a 3, right? Have no problem smashing a 3. He smashes it. She feels like that man is supposed to commit. Then she's one of the girls saying, I need you to delete the dating apps. When she's getting with men, she doesn't qualify for. Because men she doesn't qualify for is going to smash it down.
Is it happening? I'll just drop you off home, bro.
You see what's happening to our men? The man doesn't even know how to conversate with girls. He doesn't know how to set the mood. He put on a song. This has to be a skit. Seriously. When I found this video, I said, no. There's no way that he played that like that. You're getting tonight. You see what's happening, ladies? What do you think also was happening? Who is she letting smash? Say if she goes on a dating app. Or the guys that's smashing everything. And you wonder why the epidemic is so bad. The HIV epidemic is so bad. It's not happening to men. It's happening to you ladies.
This morning, and I'm going on side quests. Type is on the app. She's probably at home doing her little crocheting, playing a little Dungeons Dragons, maybe. Going outside only to work out, go to the grocery store, do a little arts and crafts stuff probably. She's not on the apps. She's doing side quests too. So I'm going on side quests because all I do on the apps is just swipe left on everybody. Like, it was just wasting time. Just doom scrolling on the apps, swiping left on everybody. So, going on side quests.
I've been there before. Swiping left on everything. Seriously. Because you're not going to get anybody. And like the guy said that was 5'6", he says sometimes I'll get 2 or 3 a month. And you know what happens? A guy would get 2 or 3, a lot of times bombs, and then will run through those bombs too because he feels like I'm not getting what I'm worth. Because men feel the same as you ladies, but you ladies are hey, you want everything that's tall. Like a guy take a girl that's pretty, that's decent. He's fine with it. But men see it's no hope now.
Anymore because a man came up to me a couple of weeks ago and his opening line was, "You look like you can drink more than me." I said, "Did you just call me big and fat?" And he was like, "Oh my god, no, that's not what I meant. Like, oh my god, I'm big and fat." And I was like, "Right." He goes, "I just meant like you look like you can like handle your liquor." And I was like, "So I look like an alcoholic?" Either you said I look like an alcoholic or I look like a fatty. Either way, this is not going well. And he's like, no, you just look like you can have a good time. And I was like, I would be having a better time if this conversation ended. So I'm gonna need you to. And it was like, it would have been fine if like he had like followed up with something good or, like we could have laughed. But then he also told me that he didn't vote. So 3 strikes, bro. Like we're out.
This is what's happening to our men. We're being crippled, right? Now, why would any man say you look like you can drink? He's gonna get up with her and try to maybe proposition her to go to a bar or maybe invite her over and have some alcohol. But what's happening is guys don't know how to do that. They don't know how to proposition. They don't know how to come across friendly, right? Friendly, but not too friendly, you know? That give a hug and kind of be touchy and without being, you know, overly touchy, to break the touch barrier on a regular as you chilling with her, having that drink. Men don't understand that because they're not able to attempt it. Because what's happened with the Me Too movement, it's really played a part on all of us, everyone in the society nowadays. So I kind of get it. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Other than that, peace out. See you next video.